Improved quality. When we say that the quality of the crop product, it varies from crop to crop, right? Like protein quality, it is very important in pulses. Secondly, oil quality, it is important in oil seeds. And preserving quality, that is very much important in fruits and vegetables. Moving to next point, biotic and abiotic stress. When we say biotic and abiotic stress, it means biotic factors are the diseases, insects, nematodes, while the abiotic are drought, waterlogging, heat, cold, frost, right? All these conditions and varieties resistant to these factors can be improved. We can, and when it is done, we can increase the crop production. Then third is change in maturity duration. Change in maturity duration. It means it reduces the cost of crop production and makes the variety economical. Uniform maturity makes the harvesting produce easy. Supposingly we are growing a crop which is for 6 months duration in a year's time. Okay, and we reduce it to a 4 month season. Ultimately, it reduces the cost of crop production. Every time we need not to prepare the soil bed, and it makes the variety economical, and the harvesting process is easy, reduces the losses during harvesting also. So this is beneficial. Then is wider adaptability. Wider adaptability means it allows the crops to be grown under different climatic conditions in different areas. That is adaptability. That a crop can grow in different climatic conditions in different areas. Right? Then is the desirable agronomic characteristics. Desirable agronomic characteristics, it increases the productivity. Like we say tallness and profuse branching. It is preferred for a fodder crop. And when we say dwarfness, it is for cereal crops, so that less nutrients are consumed by these crops. Then are plant nutrients. Plant nutrients which are supplied to the plant by air, water and soil. Air we know provides carbon and oxygen, water hydrogen and oxygen. Soil provides all the macro and the micronutrients. Okay, there are 16 nutrients which are essential for the plant, and these are provided in this manner. Then we come to the manure, fertilizers, organic farming. What are all these terms? Manure we know, which contains large number of organic matter, right, and also supplies small quantity of nutrients, because it is taken on a general mood. It is not specific for any specific particular deficiency. It is prepared by the decomposition of animal excreta and plant waste. Animal excreta and plant waste. These are the raw products. And manure helps in enrichment of the soil with nutrients and organic matter and increases the soil fertility. Overall, it keeps a check on the growth of the plants and in general increases the soil nutrients. But On the basis of the kind of biological waste we use to make manure, it can be compost, then vermicompost, and green manure. Compost, which is basically the farm waste material. And here we say such as livestock excreta, excreta of cow dung, vegetable waste, animal refuse, domestic waste, sewage waste, everything waste, straw, eradicated weeds. These are decomposed in pits and the process is called composting. Vermicompost, where the compost which is made by the decomposition of plant and animal refuse, the process is increased or hastened the process with the introduction of earthworms. Worms are introduced, so vermicompost. When prior to the sowing of crops, some of the seeds, some plants like sun hemp and guar, they are first grown. Sun hemp, guar, these are grown and mulched in the soil. Basically, these plants which are grown, these are turned into green manure and helps in enriching of the soil, mainly in nitrogen and phosphorus. This is manuring. Then is fertilizers. Fertilizers, which are basically commercially produced plant nutrients, and these are commercially produced. And these supply nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, इनको NPK भी बोलते हैं. You might have heard the name. And they are used to ensure good vegetation growth, leaves, branches, flowers. They are particular also that these are specific in giving rise to a specific kind of organic nutrients to the plant. And they are mainly play an important factor in the high yield of high cost farming, but these are not useful for a long run, right? Then we prefer organic farming, when with minimal use or no use of chemicals. No use, or we say minimal use of chemicals as fertilizers, herbicides, pesticides, and with the maximum use of organic manure. This is a combination which is provided. Use of bioagents also, like blue-green alga in the preparation of biofertilizers, neem leaves we use, turmeric specifically in the green storage, with healthy cropping system. This is how we practice organic farming. Then is irrigation. We need to supply proper water also. So irrigation can be done by wells. Wells are dug wells and tube wells. Can be done by river lift system. Where do we use river lift system? When the canal flow is insufficient or irregular due to inadequate reservoir release. Lift system is more rational. Water is directly supplied to the nearby areas wherever irrigation is required, which are close to the rivers. Then are tanks, reservoir systems, small storage reservoirs. Okay, coming to the cropping pattern. Let's learn a little about the cropping pattern. Cropping pattern means how do we grow different crops and what are the different ways of growing crops so as to get the maximum benefit. We can try mixed cropping. In mixed cropping, two or more crops simultaneously grown on the same piece of land. Two or more crops and we use same piece of land. इसमें क्या होता है? We choose a combination, like we say wheat and gram, or wheat and mustard, wheat, cornflower and sunflower. What happens here? It reduces the disease risk and basically there is the assurance also that if one crop is failed due to a disease attack, another one will remain persistent. It will grow. Then is intercropping. When we grow two or more crops simultaneously in a field but following a definite pattern, like few rows of one alternate with the other one. Here we again choose combinations like soybean with maize, finger millet, that is bajra, along with cowpea. Cowpea is lobia. Okay, so this way the crops are selected that their nutrient requirement is different. Then is crop rotation. Crop rotation stands for when we grow different crops on a piece of land in a pre-planned succession. In a pre-planned succession. This is called crop rotation. Depending upon the duration, crop rotation is done for different crop combinations. Like the availability of moisture, irrigation decides the choice of crop to be cultivated. Then afterwards, properly 2 or 3 crops can be grown in the same season depending upon what kind of water requirement is there, how much time will it take to grow, and how many resources it is going to absorb from the soil, the nutrients it is going to absorb. Then moving to what are weeds. Weeds are certain unwanted plants, and these plants are growing along with the cultivated field, like xanthium. Xanthium is quite popular. Parthenium, the gajar ghas. Do we favor them? No. Why? Because they compete for food, for space, for light with the crop plant. Weeds take up nutrients, reduce the growth also. So basically these are removed. Mainly these are removed during the early stage also. And how do we control them? The basic method to control them is mechanical removal. And we have to take precautions while preparing the seed bed, whether we are timely sowing the crops, whether the intercropping, cropping patterns are being followed, then these weeds can be removed to a greater extent. Then is the pest infestation. Generally, insect pests attack the plant in 3 ways. Either they cut the root, stem, leaves, anything. They may suck the nectar also. That means the cell sap, the nectar from the flowers. They bore into the stem also, and they affect the health of the crop and reduces the yield. What are the preventive measures we have to take? They have to affect the crop. Either we can use the disease resistant varieties to prevent them, or we can grow 2 or more crops on the same field, intercropping which we say, and summer plowing. Summer plowing will help because when the field is plowed deep in the summer, it will destroy both the pest as well as the weeds also. Now what are the factors which are responsible? Responsible for storage loss. Now the product is ready, kept in the storage warehouses. There are 2 types of agents. Biotic agents, which are definitely going to destroy the crop, like rodents, fungi, mites, bacteria. Right, and the abiotic agents, the environmental factors. These environmental factors, these are definitely going to destroy the crop by giving it poor germinating quality, by showing a loss in weight, then discoloration of the produce, Ultimately, what happens? All lead to poor marketability. How can this be controlled? We need to clean the surface area or the area of the produce before use. Proper drying of the produce, first in sunlight, then in shade, then fumigation. Chemicals are to be used that will kill the pest, and proper treatment, systematic management of the warehouse that has to be done. Then we talk about what is animal husbandry. This is all about plants. What is animal husbandry? Scientific management of livestock of that is animals. Various aspects such as unka feeding, breeding, then is disease control. When this is done, this is called animal husbandry. Animals based farming include cattle, goat, sheep, poultry, fish farming. These all come under animal husbandry. And when we talk about especially these cattle and farming animals, we say the milk producing females, milk animals are the milk producing females. MC milk, MC milch. Right. And the ones which are used in the farm labor, these are draught animals. Sorry, DRAUGHT. Draught animals, which are used in farms or farm labor. Okay, so this is a specific category to which they belong. Then animal feed, that is also very important. What do we give them to eat? So animal feed, it includes roughage. roughage होता है फाइबर, रिच फाइबर, ओके, और कॉन्सेंट्रेट. Concentrate means low fiber but high protein and other nutrients. Okay, low fiber hoga but high protein and other nutrients. This is the two type of diet which is given to the animals. Then production of poultry birds. See, for good production of poultry birds, good management practices are important, like temperature, hygienic conditions, the housing and the poultry feed, prevention and control of disease, prevention and control of diseases also. Right? These are required for poultry management. Then is fish production. When we talk about fish production, there are two ways of obtaining fish. One is from the natural resource, like capture fishing. Capture kiya. Okay. One is by fish farming. And fish farming में हम करते हैं culture fishery. Where we use various types of fishes according to the requirement. Then popular marine fish varieties which are popular. These are pomfret, mackerel, tuna, sardines, Bombay duck. See, these are the common examples. Okay, and then marine fishes are high economic value. Fishes are mullets, betki, pearl spots, prawn, etc. Right? Marine fish stocks are getting depleted and demand can only be introduced, like if there is more demand, and more fish demand can be met by culture fishery only. And that culture fishery is known as mariculture. This is very important. And if we do Rearing and capturing breeding of honeybees, that is called apiculture. Apiculture, that is rearing and breeding of honeybees. Now, for commercial honey production, apiaries or bee farms are established. Local varieties is basically used for commercial honey production, and the local variety which we use is Apis cerana, Cerana, Apis cerana indica. It is the normal Indian bee. Okay, Apis dorsata, the rock bee, Apis florae, the little bee, and Italian varieties also there. When we talk about more production, more increase in yield, we always prefer the Italian bees. Why? Because Italian bee, it has high honey production, it stings somewhat less, remains in the beehive, and breathes very well. Right, and Italian bees, there have a high collection pasturage capacity also. The value of quality of honey, it depends on the pasturage or the flowers which are available to the bees for the nectar and pollen collection. And adequate quality of pasturage, the kind of flowers available, will determine the taste of honey. Okay, and this way the basically the Italian bee variety, that is Apis mellifera, it is considered of utmost importance. This is all about the chapter. Thank you.